Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Sorry I have been gone for a while. I've been very sick with strep throat. But now I'm back, and to make up for the absence, here's Statler in a taco costume that he absolutely hates. Just give him 1 second of the taco. Look at his little angry face. He hates the taco costume. You were so mad. Anyways, let's get on to the video. Okay, so this video is going to be about the new Offering to the 12 Gods system. It is sort of a way for seasonal players that only play season to gain some strength as seasons progress. It does also work for your standard characters, so it is going to power them up as well, but really it's just a way for seasonal players to gain some benefit from doing things. It is a great system. It is a little complicated to understand, but it's really straightforward when you know how it works. I want to give a shout out to Starlith, I believe the name is. Starliath on Reddit for doing a very, very straightforward explanation of it. I will put a link to that post in the description in case you don't want to watch the video and you just want to read the thing. But here we go, the Offering to the 12 Gods system. It is really, really straightforward, but it is super good. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so let's start out on this first screen here with the offering list. This is how you're going to gain points. Now, down at the bottom here, you can see you can gain up to 50,000 points a season, and those are going to be carried on. Now, it takes, I forget what the exact number is, but it's like 20 or 46,000 points or something to max out a bonus to 120. So that means you can get one full bonus in a season if you do everything. Now, Starliath put it on his thing, which is great because I didn't have to do the figuring it out. There are X number of these things, okay? You can skip, I believe it is 13 of them. 13 of them, you don't have to get anything. So the ones like, if you are a free-to-play player, receiving Zodiac Sprinter gift or Runner gift, those you won't do. We got a free week, so I did get a few points of those. Subscribe to subscription product for 28 days. Those are things that you can skip entirely, and you'll still be able to max everything out as long as you complete, I believe, 25 of these 2,000 things. Or I think it's 25. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at math. But that's the thing. They are very straightforward on how you get these points. All you have to do is these things. So play 60 minutes of playtime, you will get 50 points. Collectively up to 2,000, and then you won't get any more. Play 90 minutes up to 2,000, same thing. So they're very straightforward. Basically, you just have to play the game. Some of them you do have to focus a little bit more. Things like clearing Apollyon's bone. The deep floor might be hard for some players, but a lot of it is totally within range for most players. If you can't get them all, it's not a huge deal. You're not going to lose out on anything. You just, maybe you don't get quite as many points. It'll maybe take you a little longer to max out the things you want. But that's that. Getting points, just do the things, come in here once in a while, hit receive, and you will get points. Very, very straightforward. What are we going to talk about next? Well, we're going to talk about the actual, blessings next. Okay, next, the actual blessings themselves. Now, I'm going to go straight off Starliath's list here because it's perfect and it's exact all the information I'm going to want. So thank you again for him for doing this. Or her. I assume it's a him. So the priority for the blessings, okay, is going to be fairly straightforward if you are a standard build, okay? If you are a melee build, you're going to want Leo. 100% it is the best one. If you are projectile, Vesper is going to be your top one. If you are Sentry or Minion, it will be Sefdar or Capri, because they will give those things. Sefdar is going to give Sentry and Capri is going to give Minion. Now, the reason you want those is because you can see here, I went with Leo as my priority one. So I'm getting melee damage and melee damage amplification every time I put points in. Now, every time you put points in, and I will get to that more in the next section, but every time you put points in, this will go up. The second number is guaranteed to go up by at least 0.01 or whatever it is, or 0.1. The other has a range. Let me see if I can find exactly where. So it can go from -2 to +4 for the melee damage. For what it is worth, because you can re-roll them, and again, I'm going to talk about that, you're just going to put all your points in. At the end, you could do some quick math and figure out, like, when the season is over and you've maxed one of them out, you could do the math, see if your rolls are good, and decide if it's worth the 300,000 gold to redo it and try to get a better one. I also don't know if this is going to reset at the end of the season or anything. They haven't given us any word on that. But that's your first priority. So again, Leo for melee, Projectile from Vesper, Seftar for Sentry, and Capri for Minion. Those are the top priority ones. The secondary ones, okay, Spica gives you damage on attack, and Aquila gives spell damage damage on spell, sorry. So those are going to be your secondary ones. After this first season, 2 months, and we get all the points, you should have one of these maxed out, and then you would go for a second one. There is almost no reason to try to go for anything other than your first priority one and put all of your points into it. There is something to be said about going for the random, and again, when I get over to this, I'll explain it. But it's almost all of them are not going to be worth it. So you're really going to want to just dump all your points into the first one. The third priority is really very not important stuff, which is Miracetti, which gives utility stuff like hit point, mana, potion effect, barrier regen. Very unimportant stuff. Even if you're trying to be super tanky or whatever, it's definitely much better to put your points into one of the offensive ones rather than that. And the other ones are all basically horse crap. They're not even really worth your time. You can see what you can get from them, but they're really not good. So Alyssa, Hamal, Boreal, Akuben, and Kassor, all junk. They're not even worth your time. So it'll probably be 3 or 4 seasons before you have to ever worry about running into that situation. But there you go. Now, there are times, very few times, where some of these are going to overlap. So if you were using the new hammer, the Absolute's hammer, you could get the benefit of both the Leo and the Vesper to get the melee damage amp and the projectile damage amp. But let's face it, most builds aren't going to be able to make use of that. So there's that. Those are what the bonuses do. Now I'm going to show you real quick, because again, a lot of people are confused by this, how to actually put your points in and how best to use them, in my opinion. Okay, here we are on the second page. You've got your points, and now you want to spend them. Like I said in the other section, the best way to spend these points is to pick one of the amps or the sentry or minion one, if those are what you're using, and go all in on those. So when you start with this screen, you'll have the offer button with 120 tokens, or whatever they're called, 120 offering points, okay? And it will, if you hit this, will give you a random chance to hit any of the modifiers at an 8.3 repeating chance, okay? Now, since we specifically want one, if you push it 4 times, okay, it will go to max, and it will guarantee that you're going to get that one, but it will increase the cost. The nice thing about this is, again, if you do an entire season's worth of stuff, you will be able to max one of these things out. Now, you could do it, I think anyway, I haven't tried. If you can you do, if I tried to put like 4 and where's one of the other? I just want to see if I can force it to do anything that I don't think you can. I think if you put, you can lower these, but you can't ever get get a cheaper thing. So really, the best way to do it is the initial way that I just showed. So I want Leo, all 4 presses. Leo buff is granted, guaranteed. So again, if I hit it, it'll give me a chance to increase this by -2 or +4, and then this one is 0.0. I thought it was 0.1, 0.0 to 0.3. There is showing you hold on, where's star list thing? So you could get up to 491% melee and 35.8% melee amp. Now, the odds of you actually rolling that are impossibly low. You're over the run, you're probably not going to end up anywhere near maximum because you have to think of this like rolling a dice with, what is that, six modifiers and 4 modifiers. So we're rolling a 6 and a 4-sided dice 120 times and hitting the maximum value every time. So getting the best possible roll out of this is not mathematically feasible. What you're going to end up with more likely is something towards the center, and when you're done, again, at the end of the season, and you've got your 120, what you can do to give yourself a rough idea of if you've got a good overall, if it's worth resetting and trying to re-roll, get yourself a calculator, take the look at your number, okay? So in this case, I've got 50, okay? I've done 31 rolls, okay? That means I've averaged 1.6, which is, oddly enough, the dead center of the pack between -2 and +4. So that's right about where it should be, and that'll give you a way to check to see if you have a bad overall roll or a good overall roll at the end of the season. It's really not worth resetting and re-rolling these unless you look at it and you've got some like astronomically bad rolls, because it's not going to make much of a difference by the time you hit 120. So that's it. That's the whole new system. It's really, really straightforward. So all you got to do is just do these things. Again, a lot of these are just going to just happen as you play. Some of them you are going to have to do, like sell things at the auction house, sell things at the, the trading post. These kinds of things you're going to have to actually actively do. Craft legendary gear, those kinds of things. You're going to have to force those to get these values. But keep in mind that they are shared across your account per server. So you can see that this is me on my seasonal character here, and I've got this much done. But if we go over to my standard character, I have the same amount done. And I have the same thing. It is one big thing. You can't do melee on your seasonal and then projectile on the other. It is the same bonus, but they are shared. So keep in mind, you don't have to do it all on seasonal. So if you have a character on standard who's already able to do Chaos Card hard difficulty, go do your hard difficulties on there to make sure you get the points. You don't have to do them on your seasonal. So anyways, yeah, that's it. Quick video. Now that I am back, I am still not 100%. But hopefully I can get back to making longer form videos for you guys. If you have any new topics from the new stuff that that you would like me to do videos on, absolutely let me know in the comments. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.